Hey, what's up? I'm Coach RT3 from the Upgrade Guys, and today we're just going to talk about the spine as it relates to powerlifting. Now, I'm a guy who enjoys powerlifting. I enjoy squats, deadlifts, all of those sorts of things. But what tends to happen is, I want to take it back. Let's go back to the idea of posture. The only bad posture is the posture you spend the most time in. And the problem is people think posture is just a fixed thing. Posture should be fluid, especially with the spine. The spine should be able to move through varying degrees of flexion and extension. And so when we talk about posture, oftentimes we talk about like static posture or somebody just like being in one position. What we don't address though is we think that like, oh, if we're doing posterior chain activities, we do a lot of deadlifts and all these strengthening exercises, we think that that's going to solve all of our life's woes and all our back problems and things like that. What's problematic is that those positions start to become repetitive as well, and we start to groove those positions, and we spend a lot of time doing exercises in those specific setups. So we spend a lot more time in extension. We spend a lot more time with this static, solid position where we're bracing and we're keeping the spine locked in a specific, or quote unquote locked. I don't want to say locked because there is some movement. But we're training the tissues in a very specific way. And so over time, what tends to happen is we then start to limit our ranges of motion. And since we're spending all that time in kind of stabilizing space, we don't spend a lot of time in flexion. So we start lacking range and flexion. And so when we think of our spine needs the variability or the variation in movement to be able to disperse forces properly. And if our spine cannot disperse forces properly, that's where we start to see issues with the human body. So when you think about it for myself, like my spine, just a couple years ago, for example, I was doing more yoga, I was doing more things that involved me experiencing not only deep extension, but also deep flexion, cat-cows, lots of folding, forward folding, plow pose, things of that nature, where I was moving my spine into these various positions. If you look at my spine now, after a couple of years of powerlifting without doing without doing a whole lot of those sorts of movements anymore, I've now got certain limitations in my flexion, in my range of flexion. So now I don't have as much rounding or as much access to flexion through my spine as I once had. And so that limitation is now expressed itself in my ability to do certain poses in yoga. They don't look the same as they looked 2 years ago. And the reason being is because my spine, I don't have access to the ranges of motion of my spine that I had before, because I've been spending a lot of time doing these specific movements, deadlifts, squats, all those sorts of things. So I say all this to say, we need to experience load in different ways. We need to experience movement in our spine in different ways. And the more broader capacity we have for movement of our spine, the healthier we're going to be, and the better our performance is going to be, and the better our overall longevity. If you liked this video and you thought it was informative, please click the like button. Also check out our mobility membership at theupgradeguys.com and share this video with a friend. Thanks for watching.
Upgrade your shit.